of Lambeau Field for a black and blue division game. You got Green Bay here, minus 7 points, the touchdown. I'm not interested in betting this game one way or the other. If I decide to be a degenerate and throw it on my teaser, I'll tease it down, obviously, and get Green Bay to a 1-point favorite. Like I always say, you want to try and avoid those hooks if possible. You don't want that half point. So if you're interested in wagering on this game, in my opinion, it's definitely a game to throw on a teaser. But if you have to be a degenerate and wager on this game, I would wager on Chicago.
Sunday, 6:30 in the morning, West Coast, 9:30 East. We are going out to London. New Orleans takes on Miami. Miami, a team I cannot figure out yet. Taking on New Orleans, a team I can't figure out yet.
I can figure out Miami. Any team with Jay Cutler at the helm is not going to not going to handle business. So I have zero faith in Miami. I mean, I don't care if they play this game on Mars. I'd be betting New Orleans this week.
This has got overs and unders written all over it.
Oh, yeah. You know, it could go either way, too. I mean, you could either have Jay Cutler throw 3 pick-sixes, or you could have Drew Brees throw 5 touchdowns. I'm not a believer in the LOL Fins, as I like to call them. LOL Fins. I have no faith in the Dolphins as an organization. They don't draft well. They're just run poorly. The Dolphins are meh. I'm going with I like Indiana. I like New Orleans in this game, and I like them right minus the 3. Minus 3 points.
That's a deal.
Yeah, and I will tease them and get them at +3 as well, by the way.
Perfect. Detroit, Minnesota, both 2-1 teams, both a little still schizophrenic. I don't know if we have Sam Bradford back yet for Minnesota. Detroit, they look like every Detroit team I've seen over the last couple of years. They look like a 10-6 team that is going to get bounced in the first round again. That's what they look like.
Yeah, I agree. Nothing really, jumps out at me. Stafford isn't the kind of guy that I look at and I'm like, oh, this is a great player. I mean, he puts up great numbers, but he's not the kind of guy where I look at him and I'm like, well, he's going to carry this team to the Super Bowl. He doesn't inspire that in me like a Tom Brady does, where you see Brady jump out there and you're like, well, all right, this is Tom Brady. This guy can. It's
Mayweather-like. It's almost Mayweather-like at this point. For when it comes to betting, if anybody asks me for you bet on the Patriots. They're going to win. They statistically always win.
No, it's true. The only time you want to avoid the Patriots is if they're playing the Giants in the Super Bowl. Then just don't bet them.
Right. That's about it. And then I can probably get some kind of tease on it to make it work anyway.
We can guarantee find some kind of silly tease. Come on, this is the home of the teaser here.
It is. Buffalo, Atlanta. Buffalo still looking for their voice in the wilderness. Is Tyrod Taylor legit? Taking on Atlanta, that's the same Atlanta team, by the way. For anybody who's wondering, that's the same Atlanta team from last year that might be a little more pissed off that they lost the lead in the Super Bowl.
I'll tell you what, it's a good Atlanta team. They're well coached. Obviously, Matty Ice is a great player. Number 11. Come on, I'm not even. You know what? I'm not even talk about him by name. We're just going to say number 11. Everybody knows who number 11 is. Buffalo's going to need to stop number 11, and I don't think they're going to be able to do it. This game opened at 9.5, and it's dropped a 1.5 now, though. It's only -8. So I really like Atlanta here to cover the spread at the -8, and obviously, once again, this is a great spot for a tease.
Outstanding. Houston, who I just won't see roll over and die, taking on Tennessee, who actually wins games. I am confused with Tennessee. I don't know what to think of them yet.
Yeah, they're Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde so far this year. There's no doubt, and it's still early. So, like we talked about, I like to 5 games to before I really decide what a team's identity is. So from week to week here, we're still kind of searching our way through the dark, trying to figure out what's what, looking for trends. And 3 weeks starting to get there, 4 weeks a little bit better. But at 5 weeks, we start to really see trends, and we see who the pretenders and who the real guys and who the pretenders are at that point.
That's when I'll head to Vegas. By the 5th week, I'm ready to go to Vegas. I know what's going to happen.
5th week is the time where it starts to get real serious, and you'll see we'll start to have a lot bigger plays coming up towards that part of the season when things are starting to really get moving. Now with Houston and Tennessee, you'll never see Houston roll over and die no matter the situation with Bill O'Brien as their coach. Bill O'Brien is a very hard-nosed man, but he is very, very beloved by his players and by his, by a lot of the fans too. I mean, even look at what he's had to work with down there and look at what he's accomplished. You give this guy a quarterback and now he has Watson, And look out, man. I'm telling you, Bill O'Brien is a Belichick alkalite. He was the head coach at Penn State. He came into Penn State when Penn State was having all those issues with scholarships, and he made Penn State competitive, minus scholarships. Then he moves on to the pros, and while Houston isn't a great team by any means, but they're very competitive, and like you said, they're not rolling over for anybody. This is a good spot here. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bet Houston on the teaser.
Wow.
They're getting 1.5. So I'm going to tease that up to get it 7.5. So now I'm getting a touchdown and a half, and so that means that Tennessee's going to have to beat us by 2 scores. And I just see Houston hanging around in this game. I don't see them winning it outright, obviously, but I see them hanging around in this game and it being real close come down to the end.
The Battle of the Toilet Bowl. Cincinnati taking on Cleveland. 0-3, 0-3. I like this one because I can see the overs on this one getting blown. This is either an over or an under, and I don't know which.
Yeah, well, it opened at 40, and it's currently sitting at 41.5. So all the money, 99% of the money is on the over for this game and the public money for the betting trend. So I'm probably going to see. I have no faith in my fellow man, so I'm going to say I'm going to take a flyer here, and I'm going to bet the under in this game instead of the over.
Here's the thing: one of these days, Dalton is going to be Dalton.
Yeah, I hear that, but when is Cincinnati ever going to? When is Cleveland ever going to be Cleveland?
You know what? They've got a bunch of great rookies. Again, some good rookies. They look pretty good.
I just don't.
Yeah, okay.
I just don't have any faith in that.
I like the under bet too. I'm not going to dispute that.
I see Cleveland I see Cincinnati winning this game 20-12, something like that.
Yeah, it's one of those ridiculous games. I agree on that one. The best matchup of the week, in my humble opinion, Carolina taking on New England. What a fun game. Carolina's defense is probably as good as Carolina's defense has been, taking on arguably the greatest franchise ever in NFL history. It probably is at this point.
Yes, definitely. It pains me to say it forever.
Boston people don't need that. They really.
I know.
They don't.
I know. They're the worst people. They're just. I'm sorry, Boston people.
You
but
are. You are.
I'm from the
people.
Bronx. We don't get along. I'm just sorry. It's just the way.
Do you watch
it's
away games for the same reason I do, just to watch the sidelines of sad fans when their team loses?
Oh, I love that. I love when teams are sad because guess what? As a Jets fan, misery loves company.
Yeah, I'm a Charger fan. My fiance got mad at me the other day. She goes, "You're literally watching this because the home team's losing." I said, "That's the only reason I'm watching. I like watching people walk out of the stadium."
There's so little joy left in the world. We got to get it where we can.
That's so true. What's the line on this one?
Right now on this game, it opened at 9.5, and it's dropped a half point down to 9. Patriots -9. So
I like Carolina and 9 a lot.
I tell you, it's one of those games too where it's one of those very few games where I don't see the Patriots covering the spread here. I think that Carolina is a great bet at 9, but it's even better bet when you tease it up.
Yeah.
Tease it up 6 points, get yourself up there to 14. Now you got a 2 touchdown. He lands on 2 touchdowns. You still get a push. It's like kissing your sister, but you live to fight another day.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a nice number there. And so I think that if you're going to bet that game, Carolina is the way to go with the number and definitely with the tease as well.
The battle of legitimacy will happen. The LA Rams take on the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah,
Are
this
the Rams for real?
Well, I'll tell you what, the money seems to think so. It opened at 9.5 and it's down to 6.
Yep.
So that's a significant swing in football, and that's something that makes someone that looks at numbers.
And there's one name, Sammy Watkins.
That's right. This team is, these two teams, it's a lot closer than people think, in my opinion. I think that Dallas is highly overrated, and I think that the Rams are highly underrated.
Yep.
I've been saying that since the beginning of the year, and I fully believe that the direction the Rams are going is the proper direction. And I think that the Dallas Cowboys, they're going to be engulfed in all this turmoil from the nonsense with Jerry Jones and all the pregame BS still. They're under a microscope in Dallas. They're America's team. Isn't that the moniker they've given themselves?
Sure is.
Well, here you guys go. enjoy it, boys. Enjoy the whole week of preparations with all the nonsense. So,
Watkins and Cup. Listen, look, I'm an LA guy, and I got to pull from my LA team. Watkins and Cup, they are legit. Watch out. I'm not on board with Goff yet. I'm not on board with Goff yet. He's made a couple of great throws, but I'm not on board with Goff yet.
I said last year that Wentz was definitely the better quarterback, and I still believe that.
Yep.
I think that Goff is showing signs of being, at the very least, a serviceable ball player, and I think that the ceiling is still pretty high for him. He still has a ways to go to prove that he can get to that ceiling, but I think this is a good spot for the Rams. I think that the Rams plus the 6 is a good bet, and I'm definitely teasing this one up as well.
Yeah, you know who Goff reminds me a lot of? He's kind of like Andrew Luck. He's kind of got that same kind of thing. I think he's going to be a great passer and not very mobile, and that's about it.
Yeah, he's a traditional pocket quarterback, and honestly, that's one of my favorite kinds of quarterbacks. I'm huge on a pocket quarterback as long as the offense is geared around that, meaning you got to make sure that your tackles are protecting this guy's blind side while he's in that pocket. As long as those tackles are solid, then I'm a huge fan of an anchored quarterback, a pocket passer. I really like that style quarterback. So if he can develop correctly and they have the proper pieces around him, I think that the Rams the sky is the limit for this team.
Question, just because I'm on the topic and the Rams are something to get behind for me for a rarity. Gurley, overrated or a bad offensive line?
Bad offensive line. Todd Gurley is far from overrated. I think Todd Gurley is a great running back. I think maybe he's not as good maybe as some people were trying to hype him up to be, but he's definitely a starting running back in the NFL, and with the proper line work and the proper, dare I say, game plan for the kid, and I think that the Rams will really be doing themselves a service getting this kid involved a little bit more.
Fair enough. Battle of the... I would prefer to see this next game in December in minus 12 degree. Then I know the outcome will be under 20 total points. Pittsburgh takes on Baltimore. This has got to be. This is an unders game. This screams unders game.
Well, I'll put it to you this way: it opened at 45 and it dropped to 42.
Yeah.
So everybody's been on the under. I mean, you have right now looking at my computer screen, it is 95% of the public is on the under. Oof. So, you know, what I would like to do with this game, with it at 42, obviously, this is another great spot with that 6.5 point tease. You tease it up to 68.5. I mean, 48.5.
48.
And you got yourself a real nice number there. So 48.5, that's higher than the original number even. So that means the number's even popping up better than what the odds makers originally had it at. So I think it's a pretty solid spot if you go that way to bet the under. But in the game itself, it opened at Pittsburgh -1, and now currently it's at -3. And I like Pittsburgh in this game, even at the -3. I think Pittsburgh covers the spread in this game. It's just, again, it's one of those rivalry games, but I think Pittsburgh is going to have a little bit more in the tank, and I think they're going to be real fired up for this game. And I think they find a way to win this game by right around a touchdown.
I think Le'Veon's going to have a breakout here. I just don't know when it's going to happen, and Baltimore is an awfully perfect setup for him to have a great running day.
Yep, it's coming. You know it's coming. It's just a matter of when.
Jacksonville. This is painful for you. Your Jets coming off a big win, taking on Jacksonville. You're going right into the buzzsaw of Fortunette.
Yeah, here's the thing about the Jets, and I said it from week one. It's not a personnel problem, so to speak, with the Jets, especially with the wide receivers. The Jets have a really nice cadre of young wide receivers. Robbie Anderson had a great game. Adarius Stewart. The Jets have some really nice players. The problem is, once again, the coaching. Bowles is a terrible in-game coach. He always stands around with that silly look on his face like, whoa, what happened? Well, I don't know. You tell me, coach, what happened? What are you doing with the personnel out there on the field that you have out on the field? So he's the problem. The Jets and Jacksonville is, man, I tell you, this game opened at -4 for Jacksonville. It's -3 now.
What a deal.
I think you got to hammer this game at Jacksonville. Jacksonville's going to beat the Jets. Don't get caught up in the Jets' victory from last week. That's a rivalry game. Why
do I feel that I should get my daughter's college money out for this game?
Well, I won't be responsible for any of that, but I'll tell you this right now. There's no way that I see the Jets being able to stop Jacksonville in this game. I just don't see it. The Jets defense is good. Don't get me wrong. It's stout. But when the offense can't move the ball, the defense doesn't ever get